Last time we looked at just cutting a full section through a part. Now we're going to look at a different kind called a half section. And forgive me for using such an unhealthy example. Nevertheless, in this unhealthy example, if you were to take a big old knife and just slice through the middle of the cake and throw away the front half, you would be looking at a full section. That's what we did last time. If you were to take a knife and cut out a quarter of the cake and then look at it from the front, what you would see is the outside of the object on one side and the sectioned inside of the object on the other side. Here's a part. I don't know what this is. It looks like a gasket, but it's thick. So here's a part. At the top of the page, here's what that part would look like with a full section. I will point out he didn't need to put those cutting plane line in there, that cutting plane line in there, because it's a center line. Top of the page is a full section. Took a big old knife and sliced through the middle. At the bottom of the page is a half section. So you are seeing half of the part in section view and the other half of the part in unsectioned view. Here's another example. Half of the part is in section view. There's a center line. The other half of the part is in viewing from the outside. Now, our book, if you happen to have it, is fond of using these cutting plane lines. He doesn't need to be doing that. And why? Because remember, if you are cutting through a center line, you don't need those cutting plane arrows. Also, when you cut a half section, the cutting plane line is kind of weird. Look at this. There's only an arrow on the horizontal leg. There's no arrow on the vertical leg. I find that befuddling, and so I just like to use the center lines and be done with it. Here's another example of a half section. So here's a part with a quarter of the part cut out, and they threw away that front quarter. And here is what the half section looks like. So you see the section view on one half, center line, outside view on the other half. Notice again, there are no hidden lines on either side. Here's this part we were looking at before. Notice again, there are no hidden lines on either side. Here's another example with a cutting plane line, which we do not need as long as we're cutting along a center line. These two examples are from ASME. And what they are showing us is two things. First of all, in both these parts, notice that there are no hidden lines anywhere. No hidden lines in either the full view or in the section view. No hidden lines. The other thing to notice is that where that half section was cut, you draw a center line right there, separating the section half and the outside view half. Beginning drafters sometimes make the mistake of drawing a solid line right there, and that is not correct, because a solid line tells the reader, hey, there is an edge here. And your machinist is going to look at that solid line and think, oh boy, I'm supposed to be sawing something. And that was not what you meant. You just meant you're showing a half section. So never draw a solid line on a half section cut unless there truly is a physical edge there, which there probably is not ever. So you are just going to draw a center line through the middle, outside view on one half, section view on the other half, and no hidden lines. This is the part that we are going to draw. We'll draw a top view of this flat bar thingy with the slots in the hole. And we'll draw a half section view down where the front view would normally go. Now, this hole inside, let's look at that hole inside. What our book shows is that hole has an inside diameter of 1 and it has a depth of 2.5, while the overall depth of the part under that flat bar thingy is 2 3/4. Well, okay, you could use his method, and in the top view you could dimension it as diameter 1, depth 2.5. Or you could make your life simpler and in the half section view just put a dimension showing that it's 1/4 of an inch thick down here on the bottom. That's what I would do, but that's just me.